You know that person who literally cannot function before their morning coffee? Who gets anxious if they can't find a coffee shop in a new city? Who plans their entire day around coffee breaks and calls it their personality? Yeah, society thinks you're just addicted to caffeine. But neuroscience has a completely different explanation. Welcome. You're about to feel very seen. What most people call a coffee addiction is actually something psychologists call ritual-dependent arousal regulation. There's a study from Johns Hopkins that found coffee drinkers aren't just chasing caffeine. They're actually using coffee as a psychological anchor. What society calls needing your fix, science calls creating intentional dopamine pathways through sensory reward associations. You're not weak. You're literally training your brain to associate specific sensory experiences with optimal performance states. Here's the thing. When you smell coffee, your brain releases dopamine before you even take a sip. It's called anticipatory reward response. But there's more. Studies show that coffee lovers have higher levels of what's called ritual consciousness. You're someone who thrives on creating meaningful patterns in chaos. That specific cup, that specific time, that specific cafe, you're not being high maintenance. You're building neural scaffolding that helps you transition between mental states. Wild fact. Research from the University of California found that people who ritualize their coffee consumption show 31% better stress regulation than those who drink it randomly. But society wants you to feel guilty about it, right? Like you should just be able to wake up naturally or not depend on anything. What if your best life isn't some fantasy of effortless morning energy? What if your brain is literally designed to work better with rituals, anchors, and sensory cues? Coffee lovers aren't dependent. They're deliberate. You've figured out that consistency in small things creates freedom in big things. While everyone else is fighting their biology, you've partnered with it. Now, here's where we need to be honest. Do you use coffee as a ritual that enhances your life, or as a band-aid for sleep deprivation and burnout? Do you actually enjoy the process, or are you just trying to survive? One is self-optimization. The other is self-medication. And that distinction, that's everything. But if you're someone who genuinely loves that first sip, who tries different roasts, who has opinions about brewing methods, who feels creative and connected over coffee conversations, you're not addicted to caffeine. You're someone who understands that life is enhanced by intentional pleasures. You know that texture of the cup matters, that the sound of the grinder is part of the experience, that sitting in a coffee shop with your laptop isn't procrastination. It's creating an environment where your brain actually works. Hit subscribe if you think you're this type, because we're just getting started. So tell me in the comments, what's your non-negotiable coffee ritual? And stick around because the next video about people who are always late is going to hit even harder. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one.